Hey, everybody, and welcome to All American Maker. My name is Brendan, and I'm here with Justin, who is the owner of Red Rooster Trading Company. And he
Hello.
makes these incredible coffee mills that I just posted a video about. But we're going to be talking about his business and the products and different stuff. And we look forward to hanging out with you guys. Thanks
All
for
right.
coming on, man.
Hey, man, it's good. Glad to be here. Thanks for reaching out.
Definitely. And I know sometimes talking live on anything is awkward, but
It's out of
it
my
can be
wheelhouse.
fun. Yeah. And
Sure.
it's kind of a cool way to engage with people because a lot of people, they only see the polished side of things. They only see like the photos we put on Instagram or like nice videos that we might have that we create or whatever. But to just see the raw and real person behind the scenes talking about life, it's kind of cool, I think.
Sure. No, it's always fun to have a conversation, especially with like-minded people.
Yeah. And I'd love it if you just kick it off and kind of give a brief synopsis of like the history of your business and what got you to actually creating these coffee mills.
Sure. Well, we've been doing Red Rooster for about 15 years now, and let's see, it started back in '05, or not, I guess, back when we moved back here to Missouri. Me and my wife, we got married and we moved here to Missouri with our little boy and wanted a fresh start. And then so I was always in construction, and I hung my own shingle out here and started our own business. And that was a lot of fun for, a few years. But, where we live, there's highs and lows like anywhere. But the winter would get, dry up a little bit. So then my good friend Nate Lawn, who actually was the original creator of the coffee mill, he reached out and wanted to know if we were interested in taking it over. So we decided, hey, I think it'd be a good fit. Had the wood shop here, and then my wife did graphic design. So we took over the coffee mill from there, and then it's been a lot of fun to see where it's gone from there. So
Oh, yeah.
we've been doing it for about 15 years as far as making the coffee mill. And when we started with Red Rooster, that was our first product, I guess. So then it's grown into a lot of different areas as far as from kitchen goods, cutting boards, salt, seeds, spice grinders, coffee mills, to specialty roasted coffee. We also salvage barns, reclaim lumber, build furniture, everything from countertops to your trusses. So we kind of do quite a few different things. We even sell hunts here. So
Wow.
we wear a lot of hats.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it's been fun, and it's kind of fun to see where it's evolved to. You never know where it's going to go, I guess, in the future either.
Yeah. And
the coffee mills are the number one product for sure. And so when we started with the grinder, it was a kit that Nate would buy, and then he figured out just make the traditional box mill. And then he kind of tinkered with it, and he thought, well, I wonder if I could, make these things a little more streamlined. And so he ended up putting it out, making a walnut ring and then attaching it to a ball canning jar. And then started selling them on eBay. And, people started buying them and really liking them from there. But he saw there's a lot of potential with it. But at the same time, things were going on in his life, and he was just kind of didn't want to pursue it. So he passed it off to us, and then we've taken it and ran with it. We've had highs and lows and all arounds, ups and downs with it. But from there, we started with the kit for about 5 years, I believe. And then one Christmas, we went to reorder and we'd order pallets of them by the thousands, and they had discontinued the model of the grinder. So that was quite a blow to us. So then we had built this business, and every year we were tripling in sales, and then to be able to not get the product anymore, that was quite a blow. So then, we didn't know what to do exactly, and we prayed about it a lot and really really wrestled with it. And then we decided to go ahead and take the leap and have our own made here in America. So it took about 18 months to find foundries, metal stampers, machinists, powder coaters, spring makers. There's a lot of parts involved in it to get it done. And then it's been a lot of fun to watch the growth of the coffee mill and to watch people, use it and how they use it and where they take it and where we sell them to, from Australia to South Korea to Alaska and just all over the place. They've gone everywhere. So we always love seeing who orders them and where they're going, that kind of thing. So, but then when we made our own grinder here in America, it was kind of a build a better mousetrap type of deal. We had a grinder. We knew what we wanted to do as far as make our own here and all the improvements we wanted to make. So we set out to do that, and we ended up building what we think is a lifetime grinder. I don't think you're going to wear it out, for sure. So we want it to be beautiful but fully functional and work for every brew method. So as a fully adjustable grind, and it's kind of built heirloom quality. So you'll be able to pass it down for, hopefully generations. Yeah. So that's our number one product right there for sure. But then through the love of coffee, we about 5 years ago started roasting specialty coffee, and that's been a lot of fun to see the growth with coffee. And you think you've learned things, you think you've kind of got it figured out, and you just never stop learning.
Oh, I'm sure there's quite the learning curve.
Yeah, there for sure.
So what's your favorite blend of coffee that you've made so far?
I really enjoy single origins actually a lot, because I just love to see, the nuances between the coffee varieties and then the difference in the countries and the climate and the altitude and the elevations it's grown, from being in a rainforest and wherever to. So I really enjoy trying new coffees from around the world. But from there, coffee, there's just so many different things you can do with it. There's so many different blends, Yeah. So it's a lot of fun. We've been mixing around, with Christmas blends now, and that's been a lot of fun through the holidays. But primarily, most people have just enjoyed, straight Colombian coffees or straight El Salvador's from small batch, person.
Yeah. Oh, Okie Ridge Trading said, where is Red Rooster based out of?
We're Bible Grove, Missouri. So we're the northeast corner of Missouri. Right here, we're in the country, surrounded by farmland. This is my original, where I'm from, my hometown. I grew up here and then lived here till I was 10. And when I was 10 years old, my family moved to Washington State. And so I went through grade school, high school, college out there. And that's where I made my lifetime buddy, Nate, out there going to school. So we lived on Camino Island. And Camino, that's where we got the name for the grinder. So that's people always wonder why we call it the Camino Coffee Mill, because we lived on Camino Island.
That's cool to know. So, and I guess I could read it, but this has been one of my favorites so far.
Yeah. That's been a lot of fun. We've been able to really enjoyed that. Me and my son have a passion for the outdoors. So he wanted to come up with something special.
What's the origin of this one?
So that's going to be a balance or a blend of coffee. So you're going to have a Colombia and let's see, I think there's a Guatemala in there as well and a little Ethiopia.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I've also got here the Highlander Grog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had some customers that really wanted a Highlander Grog flavor profile, so that's something we've been dabbling with as far as flavored coffee. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's not for everyone. A lot of people really like flavored coffee. A lot of people like it black. coffee's preference, right? So, you know, I'm primarily a black coffee drinker.
Yep.
You know, and I enjoy trying different coffees, but from there, you know, it's preference. It's like, how do you take it? You know, really no right way.
Then we've also got the Organic Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's a certified organic coffee. A lot of our coffees that we get, they actually have organic practices. They're to be small farmers, and the cost to go through the organic certification is pretty astronomical and a lot of work for them. So they still have organic practices, but they wouldn't be certified organic, kind of like a lot of your gardeners and small farmers and micro farmers around.
Sure. Oh, we did get a question. What's different about Highland?
The Highland grog is just a flavored oil that's added to the coffee beans. So it kind of has a rum, spiced rum and butterscotch flavor that's added to it.
That's pretty cool.
Just gives it it just gives it a little different taste. And there's hundreds of different flavors that you can use when you flavor coffee, kind of like what you do with your candles. You know, how many different flavors and scents there are. It's sky's the limit.
I've got a database of about 5,000. Yeah. And
do you really?
Yeah, it can get ridiculous.
That's quite a few.
Yeah.
Good. So how's the candle coming that we're working on?
Oh yeah. So this is the candle, and it's a coffee scent.
Yeah, it looks good.
But we're actually going to be donating all the profit from the candles to Samaritan's Purse and their relief efforts that they're doing down in, like, after the hurricane in North Carolina and Tennessee and all throughout there.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. I can't wait to get some here, and I want to light some.
Yeah, so that's a collaboration that we've got going. Hopefully, I mean, now that I've made them today, I can take some photos, and then I'll be sending out yours tomorrow.
Great.
And then we can
100%
probably
of the profits we're donating, right? 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. So these will retail for $20, and $15 from every single one is going to go to Samaritan's Purse.
I think they're a great organization.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I really believe in what they're doing as far as helping the people, and you know, from all the hurricanes. But I think you can trust Samaritan's Purse, and I think more of their dollar is used, you know, for the cause, not just put in their pocket.
Yeah, because like some people do actually donate to support the organization. Mm-hmm. But you can actually direct, like when you go to the website and donate, you can actually direct it and say, hey, I want it to go to your relief efforts, or I want it to go to your, they do like Christmas boxes for kids in other countries, stuff like that. Like you can actually indicate where you want that money to go, and all of it goes there. So it's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. It definitely is.
Yeah. And I plan on actually going down and working with them in the new year down in North Carolina to help. Because, I mean, you think, oh, yeah, that was like a month and a half ago, and they should be good now, right? Like,
I know.
They literally have just like rebuilt some dirt roads so you can actually access people's homes. Like, it's going to be 2 to 5 years before things are back to normal there.
I can't imagine what they went through, what they're still going through, losing everything, but more than your possessions, losing your family members. A lot of them, you know, it's just tragic.
Yeah, it's devastating. And they're still finding people. Like,
I wondered what the death toll was up to now.
It's more than 9/11.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I heard one story, and I don't know if this is 100% accurate or not, but someone lost 11 family members.
Yep.
You know, whole house was gone. You know, just
Yeah, it was a whole family,
11 all at once.
grandparents, an aunt and uncle, and like they were all in like two houses next to each other, and the houses were just wiped away, like off the map.
I just can't imagine.
Well,
so I know that there's been a lot of people donating, and I think I love it, and I hope people continue to donate.
yeah.
Our local church had trailers, you know, loaded up with donations going to North Carolina, and obviously multiple states, you know, and victims. So.
Yeah. So we can do a small part, and it's not going to be the last thing we do.
But it feels like a drop in the bucket, honestly. But
yeah,
you know, it's every bit helps, right?
Yeah, because every single one of those families is going to need a new home, and most of the insurance companies are denying them the money to rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of things are going to have to take place in order to economically get those people back up on their feet.
Oh, it's going to take some different leadership. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they got it now.
Yeah. Oh, we did get a question, not to change topics so drastically, but this is my buddy Alan. He's up in Washington. He says, how does your manual coffee grinder compete against an Italian electric burr grinder? Do you have variable settings for different styles of coffee?
Sure. So our manual coffee grinder, has a ceramic conical burr, and it has an adjustment mechanism with near infinite settings. I mean, you can dial it in from powder fine for Turkish coffee to as coarse as you like for French press or drip or every brew method. So we think they do a great job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's going to last forever, and you're not going to, obviously you don't need electricity to run it. So we have, you know, customers that take them on their sailboats, take them camping, keep them in their cabin, you know, keep them at home, keep them in the office, on the go, in their car, you know, so it's just a little different style of grinding, you know. It's not for everyone probably, but we think that the manual coffee grinder forces you to slow down, to enjoy the process a little bit. We noticed that it makes our coffee taste so much better the way that it grinds a consistent grind, you know, versus like a blade grinder or an electric grinder that spins so fast and just, you know, a half a second too long and you just ruined your cup.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we think they're the best.
I really enjoy it because, like, one of the reasons I got it was because it's American made. But the other thing is, there's a guy I follow on YouTube, Wrangler Star. He's actually in Washington, and every morning now he actually goes live Pacific time at 5 a.m. and he starts by grinding his coffee like this, and he actually mentioned in one of his lives, he's like, I haven't been able to find an American coffee grinder. So I commented and I was like, hey, I'll send you a link. And then he was like, oh yeah, Mr. Landfill's in here. He knows the war band. That's what Wrangler Star calls it. His name is Cody. And he was like, when you post your video, send me a link and I'll watch it. And I sent him a link to where your coffee grinder is on your website.
Okay.
But he's got 2.5 million subscribers. And
if everybody buys one, we'd do all right.
Yep.
They only need to do one. One will do you.
But yeah, the lives are actually to people that actually pay to subscribe to like special content that he posts just for paying subscribers. So you pay $6.99 a month, and every morning you can access the lives. And the cool thing is he starts out by grinding his coffee, and then he actually, like, he'll talk for a little bit, interact with the comments, but then he actually does devotions on the live, and he'll read from a certain portion of scripture. He does something every morning that I've been doing for a couple months now, which is like writing down 10 things that you're thankful for. Because it gets your mind in the mindset of being thankful versus being like, oh, I wish I had this or I wish I had that. And it's really cool because the whole idea, like you said, is to slow down and realize like, hey, like life doesn't have to be a sprint.
Yeah.
Like he'll sit there for 8 minutes grinding his coffee.
Sure. Yeah, obviously it doesn't have to take 8 minutes. I think I grind a hopper full in about 60 to 90 seconds. You know, for one hopper holds enough for a 32-ounce French press.
Sure.
It's how we normally drink our coffee, you know, several times a day. But we love a pour over too. And, you know, we make pour over cones and drip stands and, you know, quite a few different things. Well, I love that. The devotion part has been a huge part to our life, me and my wife. I mean, we've had devotions every day since before we got married. I mean, it's, you know, it's definitely our favorite part of the day really is waking up, having coffee, having our devotions, talking about what we're learning, sharing things that are going through or wrestling with. Oh, you know, 'cause life's tough. And business is hard. Life's hard. Even if you're doing it right, you know, life's going to throw things at you, you know, so, so working through that coffee and devotions, that's our favorite time of the day.
Yeah. I've actually thought about doing it myself on my own channel. Not that everybody, you know, cares or is a Christian or wants to read the Bible or whatever, but like just having like people in your life that are like, hey, we're going to hang out and we're going to inspire each other. We're going to try and point each other to God instead of constantly like being that friend in your life that is like, woe is me. But actually being like, hey, you got this. Like you're not alone. You've got not only God, but you've got friends and people in your life that you can count on. And like Okie Ridge just said, it sounds like a great routine. Because when you start your day out thinking about things you're thankful for and spending time like with you guys, with your spouse, actually talking about life and the things you're going through, it starts out your day with the right mindset versus being like, oh, I got this to do, and I have to, you know, rush through life. And then it's like everything is just chaos and constantly being in a state of like urgency, when being urgent and constantly rushing doesn't get you anywhere any faster.
No, it sure doesn't. So we try to do that before we, you know, grab our phones, for example, you know, try to leave them on the charger, get up, make coffee, sit down, have devotions. And thankfully we do have the flexibility of being self-employed and working together. So, you know, sometimes they're 20 minutes, sometimes they're 2 hours. I mean, it just really, it just kind of depends, you know, so that's one of the blessings being self-employed and living here in the country. We already have a slower pace to life here, you know, than being in the city, but it definitely gets you to slow down and just enjoy life. I think we get in the mindset of just hustling all the time, and nothing against hustling, but I mean, sometimes I think you keep hustling constantly and, you know, you look back and the last 7 years are all blended together. You know, you don't have any highlights to remember them. You just didn't stop and smell the roses. So I think
like
it'd be something everybody should consider.
Other than a few vacations that I've taken with my wife, literally the last 9 years, I look back and I'm like, all I did was work.
I know. Hurry up, work, and then die, you know? I mean, that's about right. But yeah, we work now. Thankfully, I do enjoy work. I love to work. So I work 5 days a week here, but it's usually more like 6. And then even Sundays, I don't normally work in the shop on Sundays, but there's always something I'm doing. You know, we just, you know, like to stay busy. So it's good to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, I've been working on bringing everything back in the end of this year. Like I have a workshop that's 10 minutes this way, and now I have a store that's 10 minutes this way, and I feel so spread out that it's like, oh, I need this thing. Like, did I leave it there or did I leave it there?
Yeah, sure.
And I've been actually bringing everything home that I actually need here. And then at the end of the year, I'm closing my store and moving everything back to my shop. I actually went from 5,000 square feet there now down to 1,000 because I literally either sold off or threw away 4,000 square feet of stuff.
That's incredible.
Because I was like,
add on. I always want more room.
Well, I want more room, but I want less stuff.
Yeah.
Because for me, it takes up so much space in my mind to think about organizing the chaos. Especially when it's not on my own property, it drives me nuts.
If I have a weakness, it's keeping stuff organized. That's one of them for sure. I'm always producing and making a mess, and then I have a hard time even stopping to put stuff away, to clean up, to organize, to make another mess. So I'm just always in it seems like.
Alan said there's so many people out there that want to be a part of a community like that, but don't know how or where to find it. It's also a topic that can be uncomfortable for some people. So having a coffee and devotion morning routine as an offering could be really beneficial to a lot of folks that can't find a place for them. Like they feel like they don't fit in.
I love that. I totally get that. Even where we live here, and we got a good church, and I got a few good friends around. We've tried to have Bible studies several times, and we've never had one in 20 years work out very, very long,
Yeah.
And it just seems like, and I've been guilty of it too. Your kids in sports, you never miss a basketball game, Wednesday night, whatever it is, you always go to the game.
Mm-hmm.
But we can sure find any excuse to not make it to Bible study,
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's human nature and stuff. But I think it's hard to find a community of people too, or even a small group that think the same, that want to spend time together, hashing out and being honest and open and vulnerable. I mean, that's tough to find,
Yeah, and I've had that in my life, and it's something that you're almost like you long for once you've found it, because of the fact that you feel like that community, that sense of community and belonging, like you can't find that. Most people never find that in their life. Like most of the people you're around, whether it's at a job or at church, there's some semblance of like, are they trustworthy? Can I actually like trust them with my feelings and thoughts and the things that I'm going through, or are they going to use that against me? Especially in the world. And so I think it's a huge and valuable thing, like creating community. And I've wanted to do that for a while, which is part of the reason why, like in my heart, I long to actually buy land and homestead and create a space to invite people in, because like in our current situation in our house, like we live in the country, but we don't have any space in our house. It's only like 1,200 square feet. It's pretty small. And so like we've talked about having a Bible study at our house, but it's like, okay, that would max out at like 6 people.
Yeah, I get it. And sometimes small groups are the best, I mean, most people have a hard time opening up anyways, and really, if you have just 1 or 2 people that you can share with, it's really all you need. So, but it'd be great to have a community, of like-minded people, and you maybe could offer that through your channel, where you can get on and share and talk and bounce, thoughts or questions back and forth, especially as you're studying. the Bible, I mean, you just never quit learning, and you think you can read a passage 100 times and God could speak to you different tomorrow,
Yeah.
point something else out, So I think that's a good idea for you. I think you ought to do it, Brandon.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm gonna let you do it. I'll chime in.
Okay. So, getting back to like the business aspect of your company, like where do you see things going as far as like you've got the coffee mill and a lot of coffee related things, and now you actually roast your own coffee.
Sure.
Is there anything else on the docket as far as like what you want to add?
Yeah, we're always wanting to add new products, and what we have a passion for is making things in America. We would love to see manufacturing come back. We tried to do that 10 years ago and realized what a challenge it really is to have something made in America, so.
Oh yeah.
And then the other thing, we find out that so many people love the idea of American made, but honestly, only a handful will pay for it. I mean, so we totally appreciate all our customers that support us through making this coffee grinder here in America, because I mean, obviously it's how we make our living, but it's tough. It's hard to compete with red China,
Well, hopefully soon that ability will be a little stronger. It's crazy because like if we export something to China, their tariff is 200%.
Yeah.
But we're only charging them like less than 1%.
I think it's going to change drastically.
Yeah.
I know that Trump's, wants to see manufacturing business come back to America. And I mean, if anybody can do it, he can. I know he brought a lot back before. So I think that it's going to be pretty exciting, honestly, coming up. And I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities. And if there's anybody else out there that's interested in making products, I think that now it's about as good a chance as you ever have to get in the door to make your product in America. So you asked what else we'd like to add. We do have the coffee mills, our number one product. Even though we're really happy with it, there's still always other revisions. There's always other things I'd love to do. So I'd love to make a few other improvements. I'd love to offer a stainless steel burr set, so people could have the option. The problem is it does add a lot of cost. And to make a stainless steel burr here in America, it really skyrockets the price. So, a lot of customers are on the fence right now. We sell them for $165, and we machine our parts here in shop, but I don't have a 5-axis CNC yet. So, if there's any machiners out there that would love to talk about making a conical burr, I'd love to talk to you. But when we've reached out trying to get quotes and prices, everybody said, man, that's like $100 medical part. So it's going to add a lot of cost, so we tried to keep it reasonable, but I'd love to figure out how to get that made and get it cheaper and keep high quality, affordable, heirloom quality product here. We'd love to add some other products in. I'd love to make a French press here in America. I think that would be a great thing to add. We'd love to do that. We have several different things. So we have kind of a construction side of Red Rooster that we do through residential and the barn lumber, from furniture to your remodel supports posts, your trusses, your mantles, kitchen tables, that kind of thing. So we're always loving to work with customers and do a lot of custom and work with designers, throughout the Midwest. Primarily, we travel, do installs. So I love that. I salvage the barns, and me and my dad have been doing that for quite a while. And it's the hardest work there is. It's dangerous, dirty, but very rewarding to salvage, trees that are 400 years old for the lumber, So before our country was formed, these trees were growing. So I love that side of it. The coffee has been really fun. It's relatively young for us, so we've been doing it for about 5 years, but it's really started to take off in the last couple of years. So we're also offering private label coffee. So we love to work with coffee shops and other customers that want to offer coffee. And we also have our brand, if people aren't interested in private label. We got some other ideas there. I love the outdoors and hunting, and we'd like to incorporate that into our business too. We also sell whitetail deer and turkey hunts. So that's another thing that we do here, and really enjoy that part of it. So there's quite a few different avenues that we would like to keep pursuing and kind of see where God steers us. Though it seems like 1 year it's heavy on the residential side, another year it's heavier on the coffee mill side, and this year it's been a lot more roasted coffee. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a nice blend of everything every year.
Yeah. Well, they always say, I had the coffee mill going and it was working really great for a while, but it was pretty much just one revenue stream. And when we lost the grinder, when they discontinued it, I mean, that sunk us, it sunk our ship. So we're like, well, now what do we want to do? So I didn't want to have that happen, but I'm stubborn enough to make it here in America. So we went down that road, and we wanted to be able to control as much of it as possible. There's still other elements that, maybe someday we could bring into house, but the cost, sometimes you can't bring everything in. It just gets pretty expensive, to tool up for every possible thing there is. But
well, and you wholesale the grinders, right?
Yep, we sure do. Yep, when we've had a lot of success with that, and it's been a lot of fun to work with coffee shops and we from mom and pops to Williams Sonoma, Sur La Table, Restoration Hardware, customers that we had before we lost the grinder. And then when we brought it back to America, one of the struggles has been to keep your costs down and your margin down. And if they're a larger business, they kind of want 130% markup for that Keystone markup, and it gets to be really hard. So, people have a hard time right now wanting to pay 165 for it. Sometimes, if you compare them to other grinders out there, some European ones and stuff, they're 300 to 500 for some. So we feel like we make a great grinder at an affordable price, and we don't want to price gouge at all. We want to be as fair as we can to our customers.
Yeah, and as of now, it's the only one made in USA, which is how I found it.
That's right. It sure is. It's
the
only one made here in America, that's for sure.
And I feel like we need to really drive that home. I've been thinking a lot lately about finding ways to help market it, because there are a lot of people that actually care about American made. It's just getting it in front of their eyeballs.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
there are for sure. And so our business model has kind of gone from, it was large wholesale back to more retail here. So, and we're fine with that. But the problem is we're not as well known as we once were.
Sure.
And so you don't have as much dollars to put into the advertising as marketing as we'd like to. And be perfectly honest, I'm not very comfortable with social media. It's just not in my wheelhouse. So I struggle with that side of it. And then I also struggle when you do go through the work and you get 7 likes on something. It's like, that was a whole hell of a lot of wasted time. It's how it feels, So to hire someone to do a full-time position, maybe it is worth it for me. Something we'd be interested in. Maybe.
Yeah, and actually getting somebody that knows all the ins and outs of it that will
Yeah. Well,
get
you're
you
obviously
enough.
talented at it and good at it.
Say what?
So you're obviously talented and gifted at it, and have no problem being in front of the camera, and I struggle with that.
Yeah, I mean, I've never had a problem with being in front of people. My parents will say, like, to the point where when I was younger, it was a problem because I'd
Yeah.
walk up to complete strangers and just start talking to them. And when I was like 2, but like for me, the whole social media stuff has been definitely a journey, because
Mm.
like social media and really the internet as we know it did not even exist when I was younger.
Sure.
And then, like when I was in college, Facebook, and then shortly after college, Instagram came out, and I've been on them ever since. But like, you can definitely, if you, I mean, I don't even know if you can go back far enough now, like to see the difference in quality of content. But I've been shooting photography for 25 years, and it's definitely been a progression. Like
Yeah.
shooting every single day, like these photos back here, I don't know if you can see them, but like those are from Yellowstone National Park.
Okay.
um, like I used to do a lot of traveling, um, until COVID. I actually traveled and covered events for like Adidas and New Era and Asics and like shoe companies and stuff. Um, and so taking all of that and then all of a sudden having no work,
Yeah.
um, and just pouring all of that time and energy into my own business has definitely helped. Um, but yeah, like if you don't have that background, it's kind of hard to go from 0
Yeah.
to 60 and like be like, okay, now I'm comfortable all of a sudden. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So it's always neat to hear another guy's journey. We've had a lot of the other conversations, and we have a lot of the same hiccups we've had to, wrestle through, I guess.
Oh yeah. uh, a products based business is not an easy business to grow.
Hmm. That's for sure. It can be very challenging. So I think the American made is something unique, and I do think there's a lot of people that really love, to have Americans making high quality products again.
Mm-hmm.
I get really sick and tired of the disposable world, you
Yeah.
know, and then it also became a journey. We wanted to have the best cup of coffee we could have, you know. I started drinking coffee when I was out of high school. I don't know how you started, but I was drinking U-Ban and Folgers, out of the metal can, that kind of stuff. And I had to put cream and sugar in it, whatever, to choke it down. I just needed the energy hit because I would get up early and I was driving an hour and going to school 6 in the morning and come back and work full construction job. And then at the end of the day, I'd go to the gym for 3 hours,
Hmm.
and so I was just really primarily drank it for the caffeine. But then I got to actually like coffee, and then from there I met my wife, and she was a barista for several years, and she taught me a lot about espresso and then specialty coffee, and then we had a lot of fun just going and getting coffee. And it's always been a big part of our relationship. And trying small craft roasters and different coffees from around the world. Didn't ever think that we would be making a coffee mill or roasting coffee, so.
Yeah.
But it's been quite a journey to look back on and kind of see how things progressed from there. And then really, I guess we started, we got married, and we were drinking. I don't know how you normally drink coffee, but we had like a Mr. Coffee pot, just a
Yeah.
cheap coffee pot. And then, we had a cheap espresso machine we'd play with. And then we would, order coffee from all around the country at different times. And it was a lot of fun. But from there, about this time frame, my friend Nate, he's, gave us a coffee grinder when he was dabbling with them, one of the originals. And, I'll be honest with you, I thought, man, it's kind of a gimmick. This is kind of a joke. It's just just a little, hobby kit kind of thing. And then I started using it, and then I couldn't believe the difference in coffee, how much better it tasted just by hand grinding the fresh coffee. And then from there, we experimented with a lot of different brew methods, and then we went to a French press and pour over. And once we did that for about 6 months, I think I was at a friend's house and had, coffee out of just a coffee pot, Mr. Bun or whatever they had. And all I could taste was the plastic and just the fake, just the terrible flavors in it, really. So I really love now, especially trying to be healthy, having high quality, organic, specialty craft coffee, freshly roasted, try different regions, grind it every morning, and then, either a French press or a pour over is how we normally drink our coffee. And it's just the flavor differences, I can't ever go back. And it's almost, when I go to a cafe or restaurant or something, sometimes you get coffee, and I mean, I don't know why I do it, just because I want coffee, but it's pretty tough,
like having diner coffee.
Cafe coffee, some of it's pretty bad, but so we're trying to do our part to bring better coffee to the world.
Alan had a question. As your business has expanded, how did you know the next move you made was the right move?
I have never known. I've never known.
Yeah. No, you never know.
Yeah. I have wrestled and struggled with every decision I've ever made. And the only way I know it's the right decision now is hindsight's 2020. And I wish I could say I was smarter and I was an Elon Musk or one of these type of people that knew the right decision to make. But all I can see is a few things before me. Sometimes they're obvious, sometimes they're difficult. And I'll take them and I'll pray about them. And honestly, a lot of times I don't even feel like it's the right thing to do. I just say, God, I don't know. Here's my plans. I have no idea if this is which direction to go. God, if this is for me, would you bless it? And if it's not, would you protect us from it? And then we just step out in faith. And then from there, we've had where we can look back years down the road and I can see how God, directed those paths. I can see how he worked that out for us. But I wish, I wish it was easy, but it's not for me, at least. How about you, Brendan?
No, it's never been easy. Like for me, it's been most of my journey has been kind of like the shotgun effect of or even the Italian way of, let's throw it against the wall and see if it sticks. And that's how I've gone about it, because for me, and that's actually what Elon Musk does most of the time. Like he just works more hours than any of us. Like he works like 20 hours a day, sleeps 4. He'll even sleep on the floor of his factory so he can wake up and keep going. But he'll try it. He'll try new things, and he'll go through 300 iterations until he figures out what actually will work. And for me, that's kind of what it's been. Like I've wasted probably well over $100,000 on stupid ideas, or just variations of things that I've come to now that actually work now. But like for me, it just wasn't right. Or for instance, like a lot of the labels on my products, like I would order labels thinking, oh yeah, this will be the final version. And then I'll change the recipe. And then I'm like, crap, now I have to order them again. So I'll waste 498 labels because I changed the recipe again. And I'm about to do that on 4 of my products because for me, it's always been a constant journey of what can I use ingredients wise that's actually not just made in USA, but grown in USA?
Yeah.
Because
Love it.
just because it's like processed here doesn't mean it's made here.
Sure.
Like, there's a lot of ingredients in cosmetics, especially like in my beard balm, that don't even grow here. And so I've been toying with the recipes to tweak them enough so that like Alan knows, recently I switched a lot of my products over to using beef tallow, like my leather balm and stuff,
Yeah, I love that.
instead of shea butter, because shea butter only comes from Africa. And beef tallow, like, not only can you buy it here and it's actually like from our own beef cattle, but I plan on actually going to local butchers,
Sure.
getting all of the extra beef fat they normally just throw away, rendering it down myself, and actually creating my own tallow here, because I want it to be as local grassroots America as possible.
That's awesome. I love to hear that. So my wife also has been making tallow products for a while, more for herself and friends and family, that type of thing, and experimenting with it a lot. But I can't believe, the compliments that she gets from it. I mean, people really love that stuff, and that tallow is such a great product. I mean, go figure. God kind of knew what he was doing. So
Well, like 100 years ago, that's what most people used in like their facial creams and like moisturizing your hands and stuff. And then all of a sudden, all these pharmaceutical companies were like, "Hey, I can do that better with all these chemicals." And of course, that's when we got into all of the problems we have. And back then, everybody had a cow, and now like 0.1% of people are actually farmers that have cows. So it's like,
yeah, we need more ranchers. We need more cattle.
I'm
a big believer in that. I mean, we live here in the farm country, but I see how hard it can be for a lot of guys raising cattle. They have challenges left and right.
Oh yeah.
I love to see them supported. I love to see all the products used, and there's a lot of uses for it. So, have you ever done the whipped tallow?
I have not yet.
Yeah, it's incredible. So, like, it's just amazing how far it will go. Just like a drop, just a tiny little bit, like a dime's worth of that, like a rubber feet. And you just take like a tiny little bit of this tallow, this whipped tallow, and it just does such a good job. And then you can add, I guess, all kinds of things into it, essential oils and whatever. It's out of my wheelhouse, that one, but yeah, I think you have a lot of potential different products you could offer there with what you do.
Yeah, I'm incorporating it into hand and body balm, lip balm, some different things. Especially when you render it down enough so that it's hard enough to be shelf stable. There's not really any of the residual fragrance left from the beef tallow.
Yeah, because you render it like 3 times and strain it, right? I mean, it's it's incredible. Yeah, it doesn't. I don't think it goes rancid after it's been strained 3 times like that.
Well, and the key is to essentially cook out all of the water. If it's got that, like, if you push into it and it's you can easily push into it, it's still got too much water in it. But once that's gone, it's essentially like you could pour it into a mason jar and leave it on the shelf for years.
Sure. Well, I mean, they've canned with it. They used to preserve meat in it. They even used it for sunscreen, I believe.
Yeah.
So.
And that's a whole thing that I haven't even gotten into yet with the whole SPF of beef tallow.
I went down that road a few years ago when I think that I was getting stressed out with work and business and trying to do too many things at once and trying not trust God's timeline, trying to force his hand. I think a little bit that my diet just got off traveling, and my son was playing baseball, and we were all over the place eating fast food, and just a typical American diet for a while. And anyhow, the acid reflux was a problem for me for a while, so I ended up having to cut out a lot of processed foods and the seed oils and all that. And I can't believe how much better I feel removing that from my diet, And so we thought it was, I guess I just can't have French fries again. And it wasn't the potato so much. It was that we were frying it in, peanut oil or something. So once we remove that, now we, fry our French fries in tallow, and we went back to cooking with all animal products.
Yeah.
Just the old timers were healthier and a heck of a lot smarter than us. So.
Oh yeah.
But
well, we should probably wind it down. It's been almost an hour, but I definitely want to thank you for jumping on here and thank everybody for hanging out with us. I really appreciate it. And hopefully you guys go check out Red Rooster Trading and some of the awesome coffees that he roasts, but also this grinder. Like, grab one of these and you won't regret it.
They used to. That's what we always say. We got tired of breaking, so we wanted to make them the way they used to.
Mm-hmm. So
man,
I hope you guys
having me on. It's good talking with you.
Yeah. Hope everybody has a great night.
All right, man. Hey, appreciate it. Thanks a lot.